It's like I've lost my phone.
1 3/4 times. My dog on the last quarter, she was like, I'm done. I took a shortcut back to the car.
Josh is the person you're expecting.
I'm not sure. They were waiting. So.
Oh. Did you text him and tell him?
I did.
Okay. Ready to take notes. Sorry. After all that downtime, you think I'd be fully ready? I didn't.
Why? What was it today? Deport? I'm just kidding.
Tariff.
It is the right number. No, it's 5.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay.
Roll down a little. I do the
Well, I got to do
the
it
zigzag word search one.
I like that one. Yeah. But I do that too. I do them all.
It's first on our agenda, buddy.
So calling the meeting to order at 6:55.
Sweet. You made it.
Yeah. Any adjustments to the agenda?
No.
Okay. Any public comment?
Tess, what does that say?
Oh my God.
This meeting is being disordered.
Oh, okay, great. Thanks, Janet.
I think he set the committees up to be automatically.
Automatic.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Well, still thank you, Janet, for the record.
Hearing no public comment. Approval of minutes from the previous meeting.
Approved.
Motion to approve.
Okay. You all who go to more meetings than us can tell us how.
Yeah.
Yes.
Motion to approve with the second, and then call for a vote.
Motion to approve.
Yes, second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Committee of 3. New agenda items. The first was movie night at the BOR. Josh, I think you added that. Did you want to?
Yeah, so I was at the Berrytown Parks and Rec meeting last week and discussing the Easter egg hunt, and they have movie nights over at their, I think in the school gymnasium, and we were talking about things we could do at the BOR, including having a movie night, like kind of having a drive-in picnic type thing.
Mhm.
So I brought it up. Seemed like everybody loved the idea, specifically maybe like at the end of the school year.
Who's their license through? Or are they
They
doing-
mentioned the library.
That's not legal if the library is not the one showing it.
Okay, well then we can figure something out.
Yeah, so unless the city has a license,
Okay,
like their own license, they cannot, they can't just show it. So you'll have to submit a request per movie with an estimated number of attendees. And even if you do not charge to do everything on the up and up, will be assessed a fee. We looked into doing Rocky Horror at the Labor Hall with a 300 audience, and the licensing was going to be around $800.
May I ask a clarifying question? Do you think there's any exemption for governmental bodies?
No, I asked that question when I
Yeah.
reached out to the licensing people.
Could you partner with the library and say it's an event co-hosted by?
Everything that I know is that the in order to be under somebody's licensing, it has to take place on their premises. Our license, because we have a commercial movie license, right?
Mhm.
It does not cover us unless we are outside these walls. So churches and schools have a collective.
So schools might be why they can do it in their gymnasium.
That is correct. Yeah, so the schools likely have something that's through an educator's umbrella license.
okay, so they can do it at schools, however, they can't do it in another facility like auditorium or BOR.
Off those premises. I mean, the school can check their license to see what it covers. But all the research that I've done on this in the last year is that your license is constrained to like your grounds. Otherwise, you have to get a standalone license. And this, again, this is to do it on the up and up. Will anyone ever like report it? Right?
You have to pay me.
I really like the idea of the BOR, but to maybe get around this, I wonder, could we do it like adjacent to the park, but on school property? If we have the equipment,
Yeah.
outside at like the
Something
elementary
into
and middle schools.
also, I mean, we could get one of those inflatable screens or
I
whatnot.
have one. I have a
That's-
24-foot inflatable screen that would be able to be used.
Amazing.
I just like the BOR one. We're trying to get more people into the BOR, show off the turf. It's inside.
I get it. It's
I love the
like,
idea.
yeah, I love the idea. I'm just letting you know like what.
No, that's perfect. I mean, this is
Yeah.
why we're talking about it too. So,
And
well,
I bet you probably could get 4 businesses to like split the cost of licensing if there isn't an umbrella policy to do it under.
so, I mean, next step if we do continue is the license. We just got to check the license. So,
And who do we check this with? This is an FCC
Oh,
thing, or is this like
no,
a private
no.
nonprofit?
All production companies have a company who handles like their licensing.
So it's not like a blanket like ASCAP.
Not unless you, no. The only ones that have blankets are like churches. So like the Methodist Church will have like a blanket license that covers all of their like properties. But no, it's not like a industry blanket. So we have a blanket policy through NPLC, but even through that, we don't have access to all production companies. So like we can't show,
Interesting.
yeah, it's, so Swank Motion Pictures is who I reached out to for Rocky Horror.
So
You
it's
fill out a little form and you send them an email and they send you the quote back. And it's based on the estimated number of attendees.
Sounds very efficient. I'm teasing to do all those individual requests.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe the options that there are is we could do we could see if the school can check their license and see if it can extend to the BOR.
I think we have a new person.
Hello?
Patricia's iPad.
Yeah.
Hello.
hey,
Hi, I'm Larry Rogacki.
Oh, hold on, the laptop's on very low.
Now it's off.
All right,
There
my
we go.
name, hi,
Hello.
so I'm Larry Rogacki. Josh came to the town rec board meeting and he invited us this morning, so
I
thought I'd
apologize
just
for
stop.
the
Yep.
we're actually just discussing the movie night that you and I were talking about, and we've come to the conclusion we need to check the license to make sure we can do it at the BOR first. So that's going to be our first step.
Yep, so I talked to Ian today, Ian Gothier at
Okay.
the library. He said their current license only allows them to show movies within the library.
That's,
So they can't
that's-
even do it on their front lawn, right? However, he said that during the pandemic, they showed movies at the Otter at the BOR. So
Okay.
he's gonna get a hold of the past director and figure out how they did that. See if there was still a way to do it again or not. But right now, you're right, the license seems to be the stumbling block.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think, it probably isn't gonna work to contact the old director. He would need to contact whoever the policy, like the related company is. But I can work with Ian if he needs it. I can
Great.
let him know that we dabble in this stuff here.
So-
Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, Larry, I guess we'll figure out the license part of everything, and then if we can do it, then we'll plan from there, and hopefully we can get something end of school year like we were talking about for the kids.
because I think it's a great idea. And, you know, Barre Town's got the projector and the screen and the sound system. So, I mean, the license, I think it seems to be the one thing that we're still missing.
Okay.
Cool.
And
The license, it's not impossible, even if it's not under somebody's, like, even if we can't use the library, we just are likely gonna need to solicit donations for like local businesses
Right.
to sponsor the movie.
Okay.
Which I don't-
Right.
do we think there's any value in checking with the school and see how far their license extends? Or there's no connection between like the school and the BOR? It's clearly not school property.
Right.
And that's why I was just thinking, I do love the BOR. I'm just thinking like we have other parks and rec
Mhm.
spaces if the
Yeah.
library doesn't work out.
Like a
Or
little
if we
cheat
can't.
might be that orchard behind the school.
That's what
Yeah.
I'm thinking. And then it's like there's the park there that kids can play in before, after, depending on if it's the light out.
Mhm.
That's a good second.
Yeah, and maybe not our top choice.
Yeah, top choice would be BOR
Okay.
for multitude of reasons we
Yeah.
talked about. But we can look into other, and Barre Town I know does this. You know, they've done it a few times, like recently in the last month. So yeah, let's look at the license and go from there.
So
Yeah, because as Josh said, we did one about a couple weeks ago, the end of March. But it was done by the PTO at the middle school. And so we just, you know, partnered with them sharing the equipment, but it was the school and in the school gym. So it kind of worked out.
Sure.
great. So next steps, Kat, you feel comfortable checking with the library?
Yeah, I'll chat with Ian.
And then does anyone want to wait till we hear on that or parallel check with the school or
Let's
businesses?
wait with Ian
Okay.
Yeah.
and then go from there.
Okay, sounds good. And I think, I don't know if in Barre, the last day of school is probably like June 13th. It might depend on school
Sounds about right.
days. Because
Sounds
maybe we
about
can
right.
like have a target date. That's about 2 months from now.
Mhm.
Do we know what movie you'd want to see, or is checking to see if someone has a license and looking at the movies that their license would include?
I think Apocalypse Now would be great.
It's a good summer movie. In all seriousness.
Okay.
We can check to see what their license
Absolutely.
Like
covers.
classic, like Ferris Bueller's Day Off and Princess
Oh,
Bride or something.
Yeah.
For kids in school now?
Okay, I'm old.
Yeah. No,
but
I was gonna say Grease, so or The
Yeah.
Sandlot or something like that. So.
Seeing movies that we have played here.
That's right.
For
Maybe
people
that's-
our own age.
They're getting it in my mind. But the kids will think it's so retro and fun.
Sure.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Or they'll be like, where are their friends?
Their parents will watch it too. Their parents.
Why don't they just email him to give them back the poll?
Great. So if we discuss it at our next meeting around May 15th, then we'll still have about a month to plan it.
Okay.
If that feels good to folks. Okay, great. That was the only new agenda item. No, I had another one that I just accidentally deleted. Recruitment of new members.
We need new members.
Yeah, I enjoy being on the committee, but as great as we all are, not the committee of three. So
Yeah.
do you want to public?
I don't have the bandwidth.
And it does help though if we have more members. Like this is the one thing I noticed
Yeah.
going to the Barre
Yeah.
Town meetings. They have people who seems to work really well together, and it's just easier.
Wait, did you say join committees? Like have the two committees join?
Oh, that'd be great if we could, but I don't think we can.
Oh,
But
sorry.
no, just what I see with everybody that I got to work with in the last couple meetings.
Bodies.
More people who are, definitely want to make a difference. Helps.
Can do more when you have the time and then step back when you
So
don't.
it's just a matter of how do we get more people
I
at
mean,
this point.
I think the easiest thing, probably not the most effective thing, would be to just, if we're able, just post it on Front Porch Forum and kind of go with some low hanging fruit. But maybe we also think about higher yield strategies that are actually going to get folks. Like maybe it's people we know that we can make the personal ask of. So, I mean, I can, and Amanda, I don't know if you're here in an official or personal capacity.
I'm in an official capacity.
Okay. Is there anything we should keep in mind? Like, can we pretty much just freely recruit, or
You
should we
can
be
pretty much just
careful
freely
with that?
recruit. You should think about when you talk to people, likely you have various terms that are staggered at various places. So if someone's like, oh, I could do a year, maybe terms that are available for a year, you should think about that. And going forward, the committee application process, there's a, it helps the applicants or the people who are looking to stand up for the committee to be able to say to council, I've been to a meeting, I've talked to other members, I understand what the time commitment is, here's my specific reason for joining this committee, these are the kinds of things that I want to do. So even if someone just answers a call on Front Porch Forum, inviting them to a meeting or having a phone conversation with them is going to be a really helpful thing. You could also possibly create a social media graphic and ask the city to share it on the city-wide social media. I think that would be an okay thing to do, an advisable thing to do. And one of the things I noticed, the Cow Pasture Committee just had a very successful recruitment for new folks, is that they were really specific and intentional about the kinds of skills that they were looking for in people. So if there are things that you would like to do that none of you currently sort of have the knowledge base for, maybe sort of putting that out into the world, like we'd love someone who
Knows trees.
knows, yes, X, Y, or Z.
Yeah.
Because then that could speak to someone out there who doesn't, maybe like they didn't think they were interested in Parks and Rec, but they're like, oh yeah, I do feel really strongly about trees. So
That's really helpful.
those are my
Yeah,
pieces of
so
advice.
so thinking about, like when we put together the unhoused community committee, you know, we've got Washington County Mental Health there, we've got Down Street there, we've got People's Health and Wellness, and you know, so it was kind of deliberate to have this body of knowledge. Good Samaritan. What was the last one? I was thinking
People's Health and Wellness, you said that?
People's Health, and from Washington County,
Beth.
Down Street, Beth Mueller, who from the churches.
So I think we should look into, we've already talked about them enough, garden club. We should reach out to them. You know, the one thing we always kind of gravitate towards is we're looking to put more gardens and whatnot in the area. That would definitely, we could definitely use somebody that has a little more knowledge in that. I was thinking any of the BYSA members, because we're, again, talking about them. This is Parks and Rec, so we want people who are actually going to use the playgrounds and the parks and whatnot. So I was already emailing them anyways for the Easter egg hunt, so I can see if anybody wants to join the Parks and Rec committee.
Great.
Are you? Now I can't remember how it ended up with the allowing people from other communities.
I believe this one does allow people.
It does. Okay, that's good to know.
And Josh, just so I record it properly in the notes, you'll reach out to BYSA.
Yeah.
Do you have a contact Garden Club, or you weren't necessarily?
I don't have a contact for the Garden Club. They're still a mystery.
Okay. I feel like maybe Kat does, so I'll just put Kat question mark. I can do the easier stuff that doesn't require Front Porch Forum, and I can draft a social media post. And I don't know if this is something, juice may not be worth the squeeze, but do any committees, or are we allowed to have, or are we allowed to have youth on the committees?
Well, that's a
Like,
good question. Under 18.
if we wanted,
Yes.
or even
You
an
are
18-year-old.
allowed and
high
even
school
encouraged to have that. Some
Okay.
committees have a specific youth seat
student.
that does not count towards quorum, but I can't think of any reason you couldn't have someone as a regular committee member who would count towards quorum who was younger.
Great.
That'd be great, because I believe that'd also count as community service hours, so.
Josh, I don't want to put something else on you, but
No,
do you have school contacts? Was that
Yes,
something?
Margot Austin, I believe, is the contact at Spalding
Okay.
for any community service activities for the high school kids.
What about the kids that do the tree plenish program?
The tree what?
Tree plenish, which is that program they run every year where you sign up and they plant trees on your property.
What a great program.
You didn't know
As a
about
Parks and Rec
Wow.
committee member, I should probably know about this.
They advertise it on Front Porch Forum every year, and you make like a small donation. There's usually like 3 different kinds of trees to choose from. Their goal is always to plant a certain number of trees.
Cool.
It's tree plenish, all one word. I believe the P is capitalized.
I can look into that since
Some
you.
of those kids seem like likely crossover interests.
Yeah. Great. Okay, so for next steps, I have reached out to Garden Club. I have Kat with question marks. I think she has a contact. Josh for BYSA and Spalding. And then I'll draft a Front Porch Forum post, a social media post, and I'll look at the Tree Plenish program.
Perfect.
Great. Okay. If there's nothing more on that, the next item was old agenda items. The next steps just on kind of our ongoing projects. The first was the Easter egg hunt. I don't know if there's anything that you want to report out, and thank you, Josh, for being engaged on that. I know I have not been.
Super excited about it. Working with Larry and the rest of the Barre Town Committee, I think we got something promising coming up this Saturday. We got kind of a game plan as far as how it's going to be laid out. I got a hold of a few people to actually attend, specifically the Vermont Coyotes. They'll have representatives there
What are the Vermont Coyotes
It's the new
for people?
basketball team.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's right.
who will be playing at the Barre
Oh my
Auditorium.
gosh.
So they don't have any
That's-
players yet, but they
that's
do have, there will be some members of the organization that'll
That's
be
awesome.
there.
And merch and everything.
Don't know about
I
merch.
know.
They're gonna bring as much as they can.
Okay.
I looked into seeing maybe if they could do a giveaway with like tickets. Yep. But
Just a bunch of basketball.
Just a signed bat.
I think it would be cool just to have somebody there from the organization just kind of promote, hey, this is going on this fall for families to actually come to.
Yeah.
They're definitely on for this coming fall.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yes. Oh, well, things can happen.
That's the plan.
But yes, there are plans for them to be playing,
That's fantastic.
and we'll have something in the Barre Auditorium. I got a hold of the BYSA this week. They will have members there to actually talk to families about the different things that will be going on for recreational activities, which I'm also super excited about because, this is a great chance to actually just show the families what's going on in Barre City and Barre Town. I just wanted people to have the chance to actually talk to people about this. I also kind of threw out for a giveaway, maybe actually putting one of the eggs like a free sport for a kid.
Cool.
They can sign up and, we'll see if we can make it happen. Food drive. I got a hold of Capstone. I sent them stuff. I haven't heard back from them yet. I was waiting to hear back. However, I think tomorrow I'm going to have to reach out to some other people.
And what role were they going to play?
So we're looking to have a food drive to kind of promote also kind of the giving part in something like, one of these activities.
Is this at the Easter egg hunt or at
Correct.
the Easter egg hunt?
Like bring
Easter
a non-perishable item.
Yeah, bring a non-perishable item. Got a hold of Capstone first because, they're the ones to talk to about
Yeah.
this stuff. Haven't heard back yet. Hopefully, I will reach out again tomorrow and see if they would be interested. The big thing is we want somebody there who will actually run the thing so we can actually take care of the Easter egg hunt.
I volunteer at the food shelf. So if you need a more specific, I don't know if you're contacting maybe Emmanuel there. That's who I
No, it
usually
was
work with.
Morgan.
Okay. I mean, that person might be just as good of a
There's
contact, but
ton
if
of
you
people
want me
there.
to,
Yeah.
follow up.
Mhm.
My gut is it's going to be hard for them to actually staff it, but I don't know. And I would volunteer, not that I'm the employee there, but I have a work event that day.
I know. Yeah, this might be a
So-
tough one. I think the other thing is too is like we're definitely trying to put a bunch of different things in. If it doesn't happen, I want it to happen. But it's, maybe we, just do it next year.
Or I mean, I guess you could get a huge amount of food, but I'm wondering if you might just get, if there's just like a spot, like a box,
What?
like drop it, and then I could commit to
It's not a bad idea too.
collecting
We
it
should just promote
the next
it
day.
and
you
then
know.
talk to somebody about being able to donate it after. That's actually a good idea.
And then maybe
At the very
going
least, you
forward.
could drive it to a grocery store and put it
Yeah.
in one of those bins that's always at a grocery
Yeah.
store.
Yeah. Plus, we got St. Mike's right down the road. We got the Enough Ministries right down the road.
Yeah.
There's plenty of- So,
That might be easier actually to process than bring it to Capstone's food shop.
so what we need to do
Depends
next,
on how much you get.
Yeah.
we need to promote it. So Amanda Artesi might be able to help us out with this. Is actually put it on the big digital screen in the middle of town.
Oh,
Are you talking about the egg hunt in general, or the?
The icon's already there, but we also
got
want to put
Just add amend.
food drive.
I see what you're saying.
I don't know who manages that.
Chris.
Talk to Chris about it.
So it should be in Front Porch Forum. I put it in the town one and Ian was gonna put it on the city one today, and it would say, food drive is part of that.
No,
Perfect. And it already says that, Larry?
Yeah,
Okay, perfect. Then all we got to do is just plan on where we're going to have people drop off stuff, and we'll go from there. If
yeah, we
Cap-
could just put a big box by the door, so as people walk in, they can just place the food.
that makes it way easier. I'm overthinking it.
This is good for maybe long term, but yeah,
Yeah.
see what we get.
Yeah. So yeah, we just put it there as starting on Front Porch Forum. Yeah, as far as that, we actually have activities set up for the kids after the Easter egg hunt, so they can just hang out and actually see the auditorium, BOR. So next thing we need to do is actually put something in writing, maybe have like a poster or something, because kind of the other side of it is we're trying to promote the turf for the BOR. We need to put actual cost to rent the thing.
Mhm.
So we'd like to have it right next to the door. Hey, check it out. It would be this much. I don't even know if it's on the Barre City website. As far as, I don't even know if the auditorium stuff is on there.
used to be, but I will look that up and let you know.
Not to do all the things of this Easter egg hunt,
Mhm.
but do you think we should have a poster that's like, want to join the Berries Parks and Rec?
Yep.
Committee?
Yes,
Like
we
almost
should.
like
Definitely.
we do, just.
Absolutely.
Well, one thing I was thinking too is Amanda and I are doing a workshop on Saturday, people doing their rain gardens.
Oh,
It might be a nice
Oh.
place to announce.
I'm so glad you brought up the rain gardens.
opening.
That is next on our list. But yeah, so maybe if I it won't be fancy, but if I just do the Front Porch Forum post, the social media post, and a very simple flyer poster,
Mhm.
and then we kind of would have that for wherever
Even
we
if
go.
it's just handwritten black and white.
I
not
like
that
your,
want handwritten, but
Yeah, right.
No,
That
it
let's
doesn't
let's
I
not.
have the wrong hand.
Oh, looks or magazine, Rants,
with a big red crayon.
Yeah. Yeah, I won't let the perfect be the enemy of the good. I'll just have the information for
Right.
now.
So, rental of the odd, the prices are up on the website, rental of the ice and turf, they are not, but what it says is to email reservations@barrycity.org, so maybe that's just what you put on any poster.
Okay. I guess we can talk about that next time as far as making it a little more.
Yeah, obvious.
Yeah.
I think that's a good idea.
Okay. Anything else on the Easter egg hunt?
Just super excited, Larry. I don't know your opinion on it, but the work that I've been able to do at Berrytown, it's just been really cool, and everybody's in the same mindset that we're just trying to do this for the families and the kids. just do something in our
Yeah,
community.
we've got all kinds of, people volunteering to help. We've got, I don't know, at least half a dozen activities, probably more than that.
Yeah,
We'll have soccer, we'll have some disc golf, some stickers, some coloring, face painting, pictures with the Easter bunny, cornhole, a story walk, so we'll see, right? Because this is brand new. But, hopefully people stick around and participate. But seems like a perfect opportunity, and from my perspective, I'm overjoyed to see the city and the town working together on something. So, I mean, as you guys get projects or as we get some more, the more we can partner, the better.
100%. I agree with you 100%, Larry.
I think this all sounds incredible, and you've clearly done a phenomenal amount of work on it, so thank you. I'm super excited to see, and in theory, I should be able to hear it from my house, so I'm excited for that. Close enough to the eye. So one small relevant question, how many eggs? What's the plan?
I think we probably have about 3,000 eggs.
Wow.
So we'll see,
We're actually talking about that. We're like 3,000 enough.
hopefully there's more than 6 kids, but
I'm sure this will happen anyway, but it'd be great if we get some nice photos
Oh, yeah.
that then we can
Yeah.
also look what the Parks and Rec
So
committees
glad
are
you
doing.
said that.
Okay.
That's something I've been meaning to add. Do we have anybody with the city that?
Probably Shannon would be there.
There's no one official, but Shannon Alexander often takes photos for the Barre Partnership.
I know Shannon. Her daughter's good friends with my daughter. I'll see
So
if maybe I
you can just ask her if she's going to be around that day. This is the kind of event that I think she would.
Yeah.
She often wants to photograph. So.
yeah, that would be great. And again, the ad to be able to promote it, as a partnership activity, I think would go a long way.
Yeah. Just as a quick note, if you are going to be taking pictures there, you might want to put a sign at the entrance just saying you may be photographed at this event. Please speak up if you don't want to be photographed, something like that, because kids.
Yep.
Yeah, you don't want to get into the sticky thing of signing a release lease.
And again, thank you, Josh. You've been wholeheartedly representing the city on this, and thanks to the Barre town for being such good partners and doing a lot of the work. Great. So I have for next steps, Haley will just as part of the creating very basic materials, recruit folks. I'll do that, and then I'll share it if it's okay with you two for the Rain Garden event. If you feel comfortable sharing it there.
I think it's a great place to share it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
Very happy to.
I think all but maybe 3 people that signed up are from the city.
Great.
good. And then okay.
The Rain Garden workshop on Saturday.
Yeah, Saturday.
So the only quick next step, and then Rain Gardens is
Okay.
our next item, is
Yeah.
Josh, I mean, if you want, I just had, it sounded like you were gonna maybe check with Chris to add food drive to the electronic sign.
Yes.
Or not, okay, I have that down, great.
Yes.
Next up was Rain Gardens.
I got one thing I want to
Yeah.
mention is we're going to be also doing a survey of the people at the egg hunt. How did you like the day? What would you recommend? And is there anything else you'd like to see for recreation or wellness, in the future to kind of guide both of our groups as to maybe where there's a community interest?
How are the surveys being remitted?
Well, we have this little survey we're going to hand out with people as they're waiting to get into the event. We have some nice McDonald's gift certificates, so we'll hand one of those out with the survey to kind of entice people to fill it, and we'll just have them drop it off on their way out, or maybe they just want to relate as they're standing in line. Hey, these are my answers, and we could compile it. It's only 3 questions. Wanted to make it really simple and easy so we can get as much feedback as possible.
Okay,
Great.
great.
Okay.
And if you guys are done with the egg hunt, I'm probably gonna just leave. So I just wanted to say hi and again, encourage partnership. This is wonderful.
Nice to meet you,
So,
Larry.
yeah, thanks for coming, sorry we
Thanks for
started
coming,
so
Larry.
late.
That's
Take
right.
care.
And we'll see you all on Saturday.
Bye.
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 Okay. Okay. Gardens.
Well, just clarify.
Yeah.
I will be cooking brunch on
And I-
Saturday.
That's
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, I
We
think
already
Josh
know.
knows.
Yeah, I already told everybody you had. I will be there.
Okay.
I
Thank you.
live right up the road, walking distance, so.
That's a good question. If I can practice poaching eggs, a new dish is gonna be there called the spinach butter grill.
Poaching is very difficult. It looks like it should be easy.
There
but
is,
Yeah.
I bought a caddy. I'm supposed to be
Nice.
able to poach 4 eggs in my Instapot in 5 minutes,
Heck yeah.
which is the same amount of time that it takes to bring the chicken to temp.
I'm just hoping that I can sneak over after the rain garden workshop.
Yeah,
And I'll tell your moms.
yeah.
Okay, rain garden.
Yeah. We still have to go in front of city council.
Okay.
To like ask about the location, right?
I think we got one from Nicholas.
I can check our last
I
minutes.
thought we had to get, I thought we had
We
to
gotta go in
approve
front of
it.
city council
Yeah.
anyways.
What's the location?
City Hall Park.
And a particular part of it? Which corner?
The one that needs the most,
Okay. Okay. I think that sounds great.
so where we're at right now with the rain garden is we just know we wanna put one in somewheres
Mhm.
for numerous reasons.
Okay.
Educational, just, it seems like it's a great idea with everything that's gone on with the city the last couple of years.
For sure.
We're kind of stalled right now because we have been playing the Easter egg hunt. We got some connections that we need to follow up with. We need to figure out where to put it. Next, we need to figure out how to do it. We kind of got that part. We did get some information from University of Vermont, Sea Grant.
That's who's
Whatnot.
teaching our workshop on Saturday.
Oh,
Perfect. I have been in contact with one of the Barre City Elementary science teachers who's very excited to do something with gardening in the city, and I brought up the rain garden. I don't think we're going to be able to do it by the end of the year, school year. I do want to email her after this to talk about the workshop. Unfortunately, I won't be at the workshop, although I'd love to be.
You will be placing Easter eggs in every crevice of the
Every
DOR.
crevice, hopefully.
Every non-existent crevice in a big
You're
open
gonna learn
space.
things about the DOR that like,
I've heard things. Yeah, I might find old Easter eggs.
who knows? Yeah, maybe.
But Chantel from Barre City Elementary, she's doing a gardening section with her kids now, and I don't think I'd be able to get anything for the rain garden before the end of the school year, but I want to find something for her and her kids.
Yeah.
Anything in the city, and it sounds like you might be some good resources.
Yeah, so I have sort of a couple of follow-up things. Just one concern with City Hall Park, just to think about, is that it's a heavily trafficked area. And whatever goes in there, you should feel okay with it possibly getting damaged.
We've been kind of talking about that too. We want to have like perennials instead of annuals.
Okay. Yeah.
Um,
I think it's a good spot for it. I think it's a very visible and high potential spot.
Right. I also think, I mean, it obviously didn't prove true with the gazebo, but in my heart of hearts, I feel like if you put time and effort into places and more people are drawn to that space, then maybe it won't be destroyed as much.
I think that's a good path to continue down with City Hall Park for sure.
Or naive. I don't know.
I'm okay with it. So you're thinking, what would another nice spot be for the students to work on?
Yeah, and if it's not a rain garden, even just like anything that we can provide for them to do some type of gardening.
So if it's not a rain garden, I think honestly, all the just dirt around the trees downtown would be really pretty to put like low root plants in. And that would continue like downtown.
And I guess I'm being pessimistic. I mean, can we plant a rain garden in a month?
I don't know the answer to that, but I just looked back in some of the minutes. Ellen had also suggested the Winooski Conservation District. They're
Yes.
more on the stormwater side of things, but maybe it's like we also don't need to be doing this from scratch. Like, not to say it's just plug and play and we all just show up and do it. I'm sure it'll be more. Yeah,
We
yeah.
will have materials for you after the workshop.
Okay, and you'll have trained people who
Sure,
might want
I
to.
think we have an email list of the people who are attending the workshop, so it could very conceivably be that once you have location, we'll email that list and just say, here's an opportunity to put your skills into practice.
And invite students to do it too.
Yeah, you're 100% correct. You got a workshop going on, and I think we need to lean on the workshop. I think what I'll do, if I can get some info on the workshop, perfect. I'll send it to Chantel, the science teacher, and from there, I guess if I can get any notes, and maybe we can get something going in a month.
Yeah, in terms of other spots.
I was thinking Denty Park because it is
Denty
in the
might
flood
be really
zone.
nice.
Where is that?
The corner
Route
of
14
Maple
in
and
Maine.
14.
Right by
I
mine.
also think that
It's right when you're
park
entering
could really
the
use
city.
some love.
That could be really nice.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, and
And-
since it, you know, takes water.
Perfect for the science of
Yeah.
it. That place got hit
Who
tremendously.
does the city own any of the land that is that little lip by the Pier Motel? Like on the other side of their fence?
I don't know if that's state or city. I think that's state.
I think it's private, because I think the fence delineates the private. My
Okay.
guess would be state, just like,
Okay.
which, but they don't know.
Right, because that turn there
Yeah.
Would, yes, I know that.
that turn there.
I'm okay with being on record as being in favor of gardening in currently unused spots.
Right, I just think that turn and the impression that you get with the statue, adding some color and some flora into those would potentially change some of the impression on when you come
Yeah, I
into
think
town.
that could be really nice. And I don't think this is a good spot for the kids,
Correct.
because
Right.
it's,
I travel.
well, Denty I think would probably be okay for the kids, but I'm gonna suggest that median strip on 62 as well.
Mhm.
Hasn't really ever been thoroughly cleaned up after the floods and could, I think, be planted quite nicely. So,
I think there's lots of opportunities for places around town to do it that not only serve a purpose, but
And then I think maybe there's almost two separate things, and they don't have to be separate, but like beautification type gardens and then rain gardens and what the ideal
Denty for
locations.
the kids. How are they gonna get there?
yeah.
Like
Well, they
park
could
over
walk
by
across the
Beveridge Room?
street. They could park at Mr. Z's.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just a busy road.
Yeah, another option is the grassy space outside the depot building in Depot Square.
Mhm.
Okay.
That would be less traffic.
So for any of the city-owned ones, do we need to bring this to city council to get permission?
I think check with Nicholas.
Okay.
I don't think council needs to.
So maybe we
I'm saying that.
give him a list and maybe
Yeah.
get his
I
okay.
think that's probably.
Okay. So, I could do that if that's helpful. So the spots I have listed are City Hall Park, Denty Park, the strip that's outside the fence near the Pier Motel,
Uh-huh.
and the median strip on 62.
I guess we can add, this is a little same topic.
Oh,
off
grassy
topic.
area near Depot, sorry.
Spalding's actually putting in a watershed garden. So I don't know, maybe I don't know when it's going in, but, we can, I don't know if we can
They're along
include
the
the kids.
riverside?
Well, they don't have to be by the riverside to put in a watershed garden.
I know, I'm just asking where they're.
Something's in the
Oh,
plans
I don't
to
know
go
where they're
in.
I think next to
Somewhere.
the high school.
Yeah,
It's part of,
I
they've
see.
got a little new stormwater system at that end of the,
Oh, got it,
Building.
okay.
been causing parking problems apparently.
And then another, this is so great to have you both here. Just like ask questions and get immediate answers.
Mhm.
You never know if we have any sort of budget. Like you mentioned, there'd be materials, but like then we're like, okay, we have volunteers, we're gonna do a rain garden. Do we need to raise the money
Okay,
for it?
so in this year's budget, there's $2,500 for the committees. I do not know the current status of that budget line. That is a Nicholas question.
For all
or a
committees.
Nicholas or Dawn question.
Yeah.
Yes. That was a Nicholas or Dawn question. Next year, the committee budget is pledged to the micro grants. And fiscal year turnover is July 1.
I think we all came into it anyways, like it was gonna be volunteer and trying to go as low as possible.
And you might do a little bit of donation soliciting, ask Nelson's, that kind of thing. And ask people to bring their own tools. Really, your biggest expense presumably is going to be the plants.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
I think that, don't you have to like create layers in the ground? Like
I will
dig down
let
and.
you know
Yeah.
after I attend the workshop on Saturday.
So yeah, we gotta create like granite that's about
Okay.
this much in the granite, well, not granite, any type of
Like a chip, which we could ask
pea
Swenson.
gravel or anything. I say gravel because, well, we live in Barre City. But yeah, we do have to have some type of underneath, which would probably be the bigger cost. I did a little calculation. It was like, if we're gonna do a 10 by 10 square, it was gonna be like $1,200.
Yeah, we should ask Swenson if they have any like leftovers that they would be able to like chip up.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, like it just has to be able to drain. Doesn't matter what kind of rock it is,
And I'm sorry, I've already forgotten what your estimated total was.
like $1,200.
I just returned
I
my
might be off on that, but it was right around there.
Good, okay. So do we want to start asking,
I think
soliciting donations for supplies or not yet? The next
They're gonna
steps I
want- They're
have,
going to want a specific plan.
yeah, so the next
Yeah.
steps I have is you'll send the workshop information to the teacher. I'll send Nicholas the list of potential locations and then we reassess next meeting as far as like specific.
Yeah.
Okay. Great. Excellent. Anything else on the rain gardens?
No, I think we need to lean on the workshop this Saturday.
So my commitment there will be to send the information about it to Josh, and then we will have the list of people who attended it, and I feel comfortable using that list when you guys get your thing going, to email them and let them know there's an opportunity to do one in the city. I think that's an acceptable use of their information. So.
And ballpark, how many people did you say you have interested?
So far, we got about 18 people
Wow.
signed up.
Okay,
great.
so
We
there's interest.
About that pre-registered last time, and then we had 5 walk-ins.
Yeah, I didn't check the signups today.
I think we'll be 25-ish.
Where are you holding
But I'll get
it?
Oops. Okay.
Mayberry was there last weekend, doing rain gardens this weekend.
That's great. Wow, okay. I feel like that's momentum. I can't say I know anything about rain gardens or
I absolutely not.
feel
So,
super
I guess
pumped
now
about
there's
them,
some-
but I love.
On the corners at Courier Park.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I just look at those and I'm like, they're pretty, which, so I think again, they
Yep,
can be
right.
like just many things. Speaking of gardens, next up on the agenda, if there's nothing more rain gardens, is the rose garden, which we didn't take our little walk,
We didn't.
but that seems like an easy to do.
Yeah.
Really? And maybe for guests, this is like Ginger's idea to have a kind of a contemplative space that she had seen in other cities, and we've talked about adjacent to Elmwood. Maybe it is part of Elmwood where the community gardens are, but we heard they may be expanding. We've thought about in Elmwood. We've thought about the 2 FEMA buyout lots on Hilltop Avenue. And sorry, Josh, I didn't want to interrupt you. I just
Oh, no,
Give
that's
everyone
okay.
context.
Thought in my head. I know we're putting in a new monument soon to the granite workers. Can we combine that somehow? It'd be kind of cool to actually have like a,
Where's that going?
I have no clue. I saw it
This
in
is
the
a
news
new
the other day.
yeah. I saw this.
I thought there was one in there's something in Barre Town going on.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Where would they put a monument? Where is the central, like at the park? So where's the central gathering place in Barre Town?
I
Probably doesn't have to be central.
Yes.
Another suggestion I may have, and this may slow your timeline. There are a couple of plans for buyout spots that are going to need something like what you're talking about, like contemplative space or community gathering space built into them. I'm thinking of the Desiro's spot. Or something
Yeah,
like that.
you know, when that starts happening, I think that would be great to build it in, but it is not gonna happen for a few years.
You're talking about across from the labor hall?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So again, that's
That would be
further out on the
stunning. I would
timeline.
love to create like a gathering place down there that reminds people that the labor hall exists.
Yeah, we could do a lot of things with that space, and I've had a couple people reach out to me and that they want to sort of plan permaculture and vegetation spaces in the
Yeah, I
bio
did.
floodplain.
We did a charrette, and I've got drawings that came from that
What
too.
is a charrette?
We're in the process of doing a charrette right now in Barre
I
City.
did, but I didn't, I read the whole thing and it used charrette multiple times and I don't know what that word means.
Conversation.
I mean, at the time, I just kept reading. I mean, I inferred.
In this context, a charrette is actually like a wagon, a cart. That's where it comes from in French, and it was used when people were in design school, and they were being asked to work on a project and put their ideas together, and they would throw them into a cart, and then they would, lay them out and do their big design. This is, so they're translating that now to having people, it's whatever group it is, get together and look at a certain space, and then throw out all the ideas, and then you break into little groups, and you take your plan and you mark it up, the whole sticky dot routine and everything, and you mark it up, and then talk about things that you'd like to see go away, things that you would like to see that have a lot of potential or are good right now, or things that you think that could happen, and then you work on it together, and then you come up with your design. So when we did a charrette for the Desiro property, we had architects, landscape architects, designers, citizens. We just had a bunch of different people, and we just sat over a table and just said, it'd be nice if we could do this. But we were also talking about what would work in terms of mitigation of water and what would happen, because what will happen is that will get flooded. And so it has to be able to be flooded and then go away and still be a thing. So that area has a lot of potential for ideas, but and those ideas are very rough because we only did it over a course of a couple hours, where something like that would take a lot more time. But it was a good start. And then the other idea, part of that, was that it is possible that most, if not all, of the properties on the other side of the river will go away, and that leads a potential of what does River Street then look like, and what does, and how do we, could we do something so that we're actually widening the bank and then creating some kind of permanent culture so that it's not going to erode. So there's so much potential there, but like I said, it's going to take a couple of years for the buildings to go away. But that's what a charrette. It's just a real group. Group design.
Yeah.
Actually, just looked it up online and the cart actually came up.
Yeah.
People putting designs in the back.
Just
of the
start
cart.
using it in the cart.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Grab my charrette.
yeah.
So I like that, and I think that's like you're saying, I think it's like the really big idea and could be really high impact. I think then it's like the timeline. So do we table our rose garden idea for quite some time? Do we do something in the interim? I mean, because I imagine also a lot of people might be interested in doing something there who actually does something there might be a
Right.
different
Yeah.
thing.
Well, the other thing is, Courier Park is so underused and underutilized. It's beautiful,
I agree.
you know. 'Cause I had thought for years that maybe it would be really nice to do maybe two sides of the park as community gardens.
Yeah.
I think that it really is a park that if there was more activity there, it would push away negative activity.
Yeah, I think so too. That's my same thought with City Hall Park, like,
Yeah.
right? Like I would love, this is completely off topic, but when we lived in Montana, they did this thing called Alive at 5. And it was every Wednesday, starting at 5 o'clock during the summer months, right? Because it's another area where it's super cold, like a large chunk of the year. And literally the whole town turns out for it. There's like multiple food trucks, there's music with a local like student being the opening act every week, so it gets like the high school crowd in. And then there are other activities that are happening there too. So I mean the partnership has like the food truck and music Wednesdays now. The Live at 5 just kind of like took it further, like one, rope it in, serve beer. Like have a beer garden or something. I mean, but I love that idea of being able, because it's walking distance for so many people within the community, to be able to literally just like walk up, set up your chair and like hang out with friends on a weekday night.
Somewhat easy parking too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you that I think it's underutilized.
Yeah. And the other thing that's underutilized is the lawn in front of the Historical
Just
Society.
thinking that.
I was thinking the whole historical site society, just that area.
Yeah,
I
that
mean-
just, well, I mean, the lawn all the way up to the building is, it's so beautiful. And it is underutilized and it seems like it's kind of screaming to be a park.
I was thinking earlier this week actually that would be an amazing location to have a movie night because
Yeah.
it's already tiered.
Yeah.
So like you could literally
Just sit
like
on the lawn and
lay
do it.
down or like
Be
lean
the
back and
noise
you're
that
like
would
not
be the
probably.
Or going back to, we started this because of the rose garden. It's also another great spot for a rose garden.
Mm-hmm.
It's awfully steep.
It's steep and it's noisy.
It's not
Well, there
contemplative.
goes the quiet part.
It could look a lot better, but it is, it's not contemplative.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, it kind of does beg to be sat on more and used more.
Yeah, I know, we used to do the
It
Heritage Day
was,
stuff.
yeah.
Is that part of city property?
When was the last
Nope.
time
No,
that
the city property is
History
the
Center.
fenced in part, the
Okay.
Robert Burns statue.
when was the last time that the History Center sold bricks?
There's still stuff for sale.
Hmm.
There's still, it's an ongoing thing. It's still buying.
So it sounds like we're talking about a few different just locations that we want to do stuff in.
Mhm.
And then the rose garden, and maybe that fits in one of those places or it doesn't. And is it more about the spaces
what
than what we do?
What about, I'm gonna out myself on record here, Canal or Canalis?
Canals Park?
Canalis Park.
Yeah,
That, you wanna talk about an underutilized
yeah.
little gem of a city park.
Where is that one?
It's over off of Pleasant
Pleasant
Street.
Street.
Oh, yeah, so I did a little tour of the parks and yes, you don't even know it's a park. There's, well, one, there's no parking, and there's like a sign that you can see it's a park, but
Yeah. That, sprucing that up,
Mm-hmm.
that's in a quiet enough area and there's enough space there. You could absolutely
That's
do
a-
it.
Beautiful place to do it.
Yeah.
And maybe in an area like I live near Courier Park. I'd love for it to be nicer. It's already at least pretty nice. So maybe
Yeah.
this is like
Well,
having a
it
bigger
gets-
bang
And
for
it
the
gets a very
buck.
different kind of traffic.
Yeah.
Canals Park, like if you're looking for somewhere quiet that people could just go and like be that contemplative idea that
Canals Park is very quiet.
I think that might
Yeah,
suit it.
it's
Is
really
that the
nice.
green place off of 40?
Maybe is the next step similar to where we put a rain garden. I just put these ideas in a list for Nicholas and see if he's like yay or nay on any of them. Like, oh, you definitely can't do it here. There's major issues, or
Yeah,
this
I
would
mean,
be
we
the
gotta
path.
figure out where we can put stuff before we even plan
Yeah.
to put stuff, so.
Yeah. And then it is a bit parochial, but I do think the FEMA lots on Hilltop, it's just like, if we're kind of waiting for what we might have buyouts for from the more previous floods, I think it'd be nice to also do something with like lands that's already bought out and ready to use.
I just want to stop people from parking on
I agree, yeah.
So they were able to put community garden spots on the Brook Street
You
bylaw.
want to stop people from what?
Parking out there, they just park on
They
that.
park on those lots. People park on those FEMA buyout lots on Hilltop.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So I think community garden is quick and easy.
Yeah, I would.
I want you to put bocce courts up there.
I also want to do that, but I think I was told that the outline would be a permanent structure, and so it wasn't allowed.
Could it be like a raised garden bed, like a community garden would be? Like if you could literally,
There are community garden beds in other buyout spots.
okay, so there's some precedent there. Okay.
The neighbors
I'm
were
gonna
way
send
more
Nicholas
upset
such a
about a
big-
community garden than they were bocce.
It's louder.
I'd say as long as
They're
people
afraid of,
walk
like,
there.
critters.
No, well, whatever. I'm gonna.
I get it.
Reserve
I'm dealing
my-
with a skunk situation right now.
Critters are already there.
Yeah.
I have I'm just really tired. I don't know why, but I'm really tired. I have a raccoon coming up on my porch.
I have the skunk that's living under our front porch
Well, that's
and
where
is
they like
like,
to live, is under front porches.
yeah, it is actively tilling all of my yard. We have a very
Cool.
grubby yard, apparently.
How my backyard usually
I had a
is.
black bar bear in my trash,
Oh my
last fall.
goodness.
Where do you live?
Right above the auditorium, Long Street.
Oh, you guys are neighbors.
Yeah.
Where on Long Street are you? Further up?
Turn off the recording.
42.
35. Hello.
Hi, neighbor. Did you have the same bear?
You should
It was-
apply for this microgrant that's gonna come out and you can plan a block party
And
and
meet
then
your
get to know
neighbors.
each other.
I don't think I can.
Oh,
You can attend.
I'm applying for one for Granite Street and I'm gonna have games and stuff over on the Desero property.
It's amazing.
So I'm gonna send Nicholas the email of all emails, being like, here are all the spots we think of, and here are the
Yeah.
things we might want to do on them. Do you have major reservations about
Yeah.
any? Just to maybe get the lay of the land, no pun intended.
I
about-
will say the introduction of more flora
Mm-hmm.
into like our downtown and park spaces is one of the reasons that like I really wanted to be part of the committee.
Yeah.
And it's taken us like 2 years to get this far with it. So even if I'm not like officially on the committee in the upcoming terms,
In
like
the
this
minutes,
is something.
Kat is interested.
Yeah, like this is
Not to
something.
straight up
This
volunteer.
is something
Yeah.
that I
Interested.
do. Yeah,
Right.
this is something that like I'm really passionate about is the introduction of sustainable flora.
So you're not the only
Into
one, and I was
public
actually
spaces.
gonna bring up, I know like they originally talked to us, they wanted us to find activities using the auditorium and the BOR as part of Parks and Rec.
Mm-hmm.
But we also need to kind of do what the community wants. And the one thing I noticed is all the interests when people come in is gardens, gardening, beautification and whatnot. I really think we should really focus on that because that's what the community wants.
I think there's some grant opportunities there too. The Friends of Matthewson Playground just did a really nice job getting
Yeah,
a
she
grant.
came like
Last
Okay,
month. Yep.
yeah, to talk
she's
about
now
the trees there.
yeah, she's now a brunch regular too.
She doesn't want to be part of the committee though.
Yeah, we try.
Good try.
Mhm.
But they were able to find a really nice grant opportunity to get that done. So if like you were able to put something together for Canales Park, you could get possibly, some funding.
It would be worthwhile to see if Canales would benefit from like any new trees. I haven't been there, so I'd have to like go by.
It would benefit from some new trees, and when I was door knocking there running for council, there were a couple of constituents on Fortney who thought that the trees that are existing could use trimming. So I think like a general like freshening would go over really well with both the neighbors and
we
more
just learned from Amanda about the berry tree nursery where there are trees that have been like maturing for the purpose of finding homes in public spaces.
There used to be a tree committee.
So yeah, those are things that like I'm super passionate about around town and want to stay involved with like those endeavors.
I still think we should keep focusing on that. There's nothing wrong with coming up with some, we talked about this, I'm not running a men's soccer league. I don't have time, we don't have time. That is a Parks and Rec director thing. I don't mind putting together like a fundraiser or something like a weekend thing. Getting people help with that. But I think our time's best served with these ideas.
And I think it kind of goes to what Amanda was saying, like thinking about who we want to recruit based on who we aren't, like where we, like if Kat leaves the committee, we might want to recruit that, but also knowing like, I know what I'm interested in, not. So if we think we need like more diverse, skill sets, we can keep that in mind as we recruit. I too don't want to run a men's soccer league. I'm more interested,
It's just a lot of time.
Yeah, I'm more interested in like the social, laid back.
This is something we were specifically asked.
I mean, I love the idea. I want people using these buildings, but I have a job and family I need to take care of.
You were asked to run a men's soccer
We
league?
were asked
Kind
to
of, sort
we
of.
were asked to see if we could run a league of some sort. Soccer was the suggestion.
That's not appropriate
For
for
the
this
turf?
group. No, for this group. I
They
mean,
No,
they
I
won't-
mean, like, was it the intention to use the term?
Yeah.
Mhm.
And it was
No,
like,
I
well,
agree
someone
with
has
you.
to open it and someone
Yeah.
has
But,
to
like,
lock
we
it.
would
But the thing is you could put things out saying, we're looking for, ways to use the turf and, is anybody interested in, like, let them do it, but
Well, and
Facilitate
I
in
asked-
big picture, but
I said, who would open and close it?
I don't know.
Right, city, it would have to be city stuff.
I know, I was
That's a whole
told,
nother
I
ask.
was told that I would be a trusted key holder, and I was like,
Cool.
So I think that was kind of like
Oh,
we
you
took it as like he wanted us to do that, but also I
He's
think
funny.
it was like
he's funny.
you hit it on the head. I think he also was like, hey, can you find people who facilitate this
Right.
stuff too?
Yes.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like he was like throwing it all at us, but they really want to use those. But first of all, we have an auditorium committee. I think they can help facilitate
Yeah,
that
I
stuff.
think putting out a
But-
call for, hey, do you play soccer? Do you want to do a league and everything? And then find that facilitator that will help. I mean,
but then it's
You have to
still-
understand-
It's still like the management, like
Mhm.
who is then responsible for the building while it's in use and without having like a staff member.
In which there is not, we talked briefly at council about what does it look like to have like a person for the summer, but that didn't end up really materializing, and we're getting awfully close now.
I think it's more so needing someone, well, I guess hockey is in there a lot during the winter,
Mhm.
but like, I get that there's turf, but don't people want to be outside during the summer?
A shocking number of people would rather go on the turf.
Wild.
Is it air conditioned in there?
Nope.
Oh, okay, then I don't understand.
Gets real cold, gets real hot.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah.
where's
Not
there to
when
go,
you want
where's
to.
there to be outside though? I mean, if that's the kind of activity you want to do, can you go to the school?
Right.
You know,
What, for
You
soccer and
can't.
stuff?
Yeah.
You don't have to go to
Valid.
Barre fields.
Berrytown.
Yeah.
Or Berry
They
City.
have,
Well,
I
Berry
mean, Berry
City
City.
does too. They up at the elementary
Yeah.
school, but I don't know if people are using those.
Yeah, I don't know. That is the
And
part
that does
of
also
having
have the
like,
benefit of an adult soccer league at 9 o'clock at night could just turn on the lights.
right.
So it does have some of
The-
those advantages, even in the summer.
who starts something at 9 o'clock at night?
My brother-in-law plays in a ice hockey league outside of Boston that starts games 10, 11 o'clock
Yeah.
at night.
Well,
That's-
that's because ice
that's
time
how
is so
Ethan's
at a
are.
premium.
Yeah.
It is, but like,
I mean, that's why they do that.
That's
I only go to the
yes.
early
games that are.
but also there are people for whom that is their available time, and that is when they want
Exactly.
to get their
Yeah.
exercise
I
and.
am asleep.
I have a friend who is an emergency room doctor in New York City, and he never played hockey until he had that job.
Yeah.
And it's like and it's at night, and it's a way to blow after everything. So
Yeah.
So I think there probably would be at least some interest in an adult soccer league in the evenings, but the capacity is.
There would be, and I think going back to why we started talking about it is like our best time, I think, would be like, especially helping with the community, garden projects,
Yep.
the playgrounds,
Totally agree.
that stuff. I would love to see those buildings utilized more.
Well, and Haley, you're really interested in like more activities
Yeah.
that aren't like just family focused.
Yeah, and something that I've had on the agenda, and I will admit I've made zero or almost no progress on, is having just a Parks and Rec map so people know where Canales Park is. And the city does now have the information online, but like a one pager, and then like we were even saying, could we even mail it to every new resident, or just like have it more freely available? And doing a tour and a calendar of just like, these are the annual events, the ones that like we already know about, like we can put the Easter egg hunt probably.
Right.
But then like I just have a list of, somewhat random events, but I think that could be easy, like when the pool opens up, like have a, welcome to summer pool party, or school's out, barbecue and pool, movies, I guess that's gonna be hard, like hot chocolate in the park, like just very low lift and also low barrier of entry to do. What I've come up with is like, I got Canva, but I have like a free account, and like I don't have the skills to do it. But I think if we're recruiting people, I could be like, here's all the information, I can gather the information for you, but who can just whip something up in Canva or like in a program really quick? So that's kind of where I am with those things. I'm just not making much actual progress.
How do you get parks on maps? Like I just looked at park, and the parks nearby are like one of them. The fourth one is the State House lawn.
I mean, if you do municipal parks or
Well, I mean,
things-
Courier
Like in Google.
Courier came up,
Yeah.
but maybe that is part of it. And who, I'm not gonna think to look at municipal park. I'm gonna think to put in park. That's what
Yeah.
I just
But you're saying,
like.
how do we
maybe-
get it to show up on Google Maps or?
Right. So like it is a much bigger effort to do something where you're like mailing it out. But what if the effort is to use the maps that literally everybody has, but getting the parks like in Apple and Google Maps as like recognized places.
So like actually putting in like parks near me, and then these
Yeah, and
things-
having
Yeah, well, there's apps and there's websites that it might spending a little bit of time making sure all of the Barre locations are updated in them. would be
right.
really
Like
good.
but so
There's an add
that's
a place option. I just Googled, how can I add a city park on Google Maps so it shows up in green? In my small town, we have 3 city parks that are showing up at least as green. Maybe that's all this is
yeah.
doing. And then this is like on Google Help. You can, I think, submit places to add.
I think maybe that's an easier route to go, and that's going to be something that is already accessible.
Yeah, I can put that as to
It's probably lower cost.
add a missing place to the map.
Yeah.
And you can just do that. I think it could be both, and I don't mean
Mhm.
like literally like the only way to get it to people is mail it to them. I think it should just be like a one pager on the website. Anywhere else we can link it, just like have it. But I think that's a great idea that like also let's go with what most people are first gonna do.
I asked to have things like this put in water bills.
And what?
Oh,
Water
yeah.
bills.
Oh, yeah.
actually, yeah, water bills and, you know, we get our tax bill too.
I don't know if they would do it in the tax bill, but they do it in the water bills.
We have a little more control over the water bill because our water system, the tax bill is.
Perfect, we get those 4 times a year anyway, so.
Yeah. I think that's a great idea.
Mhm.
So I will do a better job just literally having the information in one spot, and then as we recruit new people, that maybe we can do that. Have someone like make it a little more presentable. The other any other due outs from past items, and then I have some stuff. I have micro grant proposal, use of auditorium, and BOR, and I forgot a few things.
I've been noodling on the micro grant application.
Make sure that it's the exit.
She's that drunk.
The party was that
Um,
tax season, huh? Yeah, I think she was just trying to leave.
Well, I just need to make sure she's not wobbling and she gets.
I think so.
You're such a full service. Make sure people get safely.
Really, that's just my liquor license.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, micro grant's perfect because that's the next step.
Yeah, so I had a thought about microgrants because we have a lump sum of money. And I've been trying to figure out like how people ask for things and to be able to divvy out as much funds as possible. So the things that I've thought about on the application is, you know, your name, your address, so we know like what neighborhood they're in. What activity are you like seeking grant money for? And how many people do you think that you would be attending? And then just have it be like grants may be awarded for up to a certain amount of money. But then have it be part of the committee review as to like how much money is actually allocated to the application so that there is some bandwidth if we're just like flooded with applications to be able to maybe divvy out like more smaller.
I would think it'd be great if you were flooded with applications.
Yeah.
I know.
That's not
And I
necessary.
think we'd want to know
I agree with
how much do you think you will need, and then maybe is this like modular, or are you able to scale it in a way that makes sense to the average person? I don't mean to sound too
Right.
whatever, but be like, could kind of what's the minimum you could use? Like, here's what we're requesting. We want $250.
Yeah.
We could still do something.
Well, see, but I wasn't gonna have them put in I'm requesting this much money.
But then we might not have any idea how much
I-
they will cost.
I think you have to ask them for some kind of budget, even if it's just $100 on hot dogs.
Yeah, and when we did it in Burlington, it was $400 grants, and it was just, you could use it for entertainment or for food or
Yeah.
whatever, but just tell us what you're spending it on.
I thought we had originally said not to ask what it was being spent on, but to describe the activity.
I think the intention was to ask people what they were spending.
Oh, good,
Yeah.
and that's easier.
Yeah, because the thing is the activity. So what we did in my neighborhood was we had a neighborhood block party, and we used some of the money for like a little bit of it for like condiments and stuff, but we had grills out. And it was actually on my lawn because there was a street, Charles Street goes here in a dead end, then Russell Street comes out, and my house was like right there. This was down Russell Street. But most of our money was paying this incredibly adorable klezmer band. And they were students, and it was a klezmer band. And but the whole idea was to meet everybody on Charles Street and Russell Street, which was a half block and a whole block. It was kind of amazing. Like, I didn't actually realize that some of the houses, like, I didn't know that there was like, oh, there's 3 apartments in there, and there's somebody who lives in this apartment I've never seen before. It was really helpful at the following January when we had the ice storm and everybody's power went out. and the ability to check in on each other.
Because you knew those 3 apartments existed, I
Well, you
guess,
knew-
right?
you
Yeah.
knew who was on,
Yeah.
you knew who was on the street. Very interesting.
That's
But,
really cool.
but so that's an example of,
Yeah,
you know, how we did it there.
yeah, so I misremembered.
Yeah,
But
no,
I
I think it's,
specifically weren't asked. Oh,
I think it's totally fine to ask, but.
it was that they didn't then have to like provide a receipt.
Right,
It's under.
Like no like post-award report.
Yeah, I'm not like desperately worried about
Yeah, we did
accounting
fraud.
for every penny.
Okay.
I think a short report with some pictures of showing how everyone had a good time and you describing what you did.
I
Yeah.
know what one thing
Totally
was. We had to invite our city councilors.
Mm-hmm.
Not wild about that requirement.
Your events just all.
Just because you get invited doesn't mean you have to.
It does though. However you guys wanna structure the application.
Kat, I do like your idea of though having some flexibility. It's not just a yay or nay. Like
Right.
we want $500 and we won't take anything less. And you
Right.
know, if we want to see if we can spread the money further.
Right.
But I also don't want to give them so little money that no one can actually do something.
Totally.
So I think maybe saying like, here's our full request.
Right.
And then.
But if
asking
someone says
it's-
$250 for hot dogs, you can be like, here's
I can
here's
help you find hot dogs.
$100.
Yeah.
That's money.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
here's
then,
$100 for
you
hot
know,
dogs.
right, we kind of know that they would, you know, accept less money.
Right.
That it could be done, you know, or maybe they'd like match it. And I don't think we need to get overly complicated.
And then I was just thinking of using a Google form.
Doesn't need to be.
Yeah.
I use the Wufoo form, so you don't have to have Google, you don't have to be around Google. It's just it's SurveyMonkey owns Wufoo now.
It's a registration.
It's a registration form, so I could, and that's a city thing, so I could do that for you.
Oh, that would be great. Okay.
You just tell me what criteria you want on it. If you sign up for the rain garden thing, you'll see what it is.
I'm gonna post, so look in Front Porch Forum, I'm gonna repost the advertisement for the flood garden, the rain garden
Okay.
workshop, so you'll see the link there.
Okay.
The other things that, just to reflect back from the council conversation about the micro grants, where there was some conversation of, does it make sense to do 2 open periods so that people have, they don't all go out in July, and I don't know if you're gonna get flooded with applications, but.
Don't use that word.
Yeah.
Right, I don't know if you're gonna get overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Definitions, you're right, I should just purge that from my vocabulary.
I mean, I almost think it should be
Forgot the
seasonal.
other one.
Like they
Sure.
take a while to like
Sure.
plan some of those like activities. So if
However,
in
yeah.
July you're like accepting for late summer, early fall, and then there's like a late fall, early winter,
Yeah.
kind of like a seasons
However-
change.
However you wanna structure it, and then the other was, is there some mechanism to indicate broad neighborhood support?
Mhm.
So I wanna host a block party, here are the names of 10 neighbors and their addresses nearby who have signed on to support this. Like, is there some mechanism, so this isn't just like one person hosting a party that like no one in the
Mhm.
neighborhood actually is that excited about? I don't know exactly what that looks like, but I think something there would
Mhm.
would help. And I mean, you could go as low as max of 250. Max, like that's enough to do a decent.
Yeah.
Well, it depends. Prices keep going up, so.
It's enough to do a small event.
Yeah. Or it's like the potluck where, you know, the
Right.
hamburgers and hot dogs
Right.
are covered.
Right.
and
Don't have a
there's-
double
Yeah, it's not meant
party.
to like
Cover the whole.
do every penny of a huge party. It's
Right.
meant to make it possible.
Maybe instead of Pepsi, buy the St. Choice Cola.
If people are savvy with the grant money, then they can go further.
Yeah.
Potentially, yes.
Cool. Anything else on the micro grant proposal?
Yeah.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah, this
I
was
also have to
nice.
Did
It went-
Jordy
this
just
was
text you?
really nice. Jordy did just text me.
Unfortunately, I am also late for dinner. I'm probably
Yeah.
about to hear it.
Uh-oh.
So, I had to come and say
Can I
something.
ask you like a 30-second question?
Yes.
We were thinking about, because there's all these committees, I know there was reorganization, but we may be doing similar things that we don't know about. Is there any reason you see from a city council perspective that we can't invite all the committees together to be like a
Oh, yeah.
gathering of committees to be like, hey, we'd love
What are you
one
doing?
person to tell us what you're doing in a fun way, like, and also to get to know each other.
Yeah, you just have to be careful about open meeting and quorum
Mhm.
requirements, so it would really just have to be like one person from each committee.
Oh,
You, like, all of the committees all together would constitute a meeting.
mega quorum.
Many meetings, many meetings all together, especially discussing
You
business.
But you could,
You could warn it.
you could warn it and you could, each committee could open their, open their, meeting.
There's only 2 Zoom accounts. So why can it not just be one meeting and we'll just have,
Yeah, but what you have
No.
to do is you would have to warn each committee's meeting,
oh,
open meeting law, and then they'd each have to say, declare each committee's meeting open,
oh.
Right.
if you were gonna do it
So,
as an
so when you were
official.
doing introductions,
Uh-huh.
probably during introductions, you would open your meeting.
I mean, the other thing, I don't know.
We can follow up with you.
It's,
but-
it's,
The other thing we could do is like, we could call it a special city council meeting. And then that would cover it under the umbrella of, I think, I don't know, this is like a slightly
yeah, because
weird-
I mean, we had a quorum of all of our members
Right,
to give a report.
right.
Last
So they are sort of giving reports and having conversation. It might be interesting to pair that with like a committee recruitment session.
Yeah.
Do
Okay.
it at the odd and say, come and learn about each committee
Oh,
Okay.
I was offering our back room,
or that.
unless it's too small, you think.
Well, we won't obviously do anything without
For every
sure.
member of every committee, it's gonna be small, but I don't know how many people you get.
Right.
That'd
Excellent.
be kind of a cool annual thing. just
Yeah,
like,
I wish it could be kind of social without it, but
Right.
Yeah, it gets a little tricky
yeah,
with annual
those
meeting
are
law.
helpful
Unfortunately.
flags.
All right, apologies, thank you.
Thank you.
And we're almost done too, everyone.
Thank you. It was nice meeting you.
The Easter egg thing would be amazing.
I'm sure the rain garden thing will be amazing too.
Pride, Prejudice, and Crafts
Oh, that's,
It's next week, right?
next week.
Oh, it's on the weekend.
No, it's Wednesday next week.
It's the eve of my birthday.
I'm so sure I'm coming. I gotta check my schedule.
Yeah.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Pride, Prejudice,
Good night.
I won prizes at the bookstore in Montpelier. Bear Pond,
Yeah.
they had a big Jane Austen thing and they had trivia and I won all these prizes.
Oh, amazing.
And
Well, I let my membership last, but I am a member of the Jane Austen Society of North America.
Have you ever,
Vermont chapter.
have you ever watched Austen Land?
No,
You need to.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna spoil it for you. You just need to watch it.
it just reminds me to come. Yeah. I haven't been to a Jane Austen society party since COVID.
I love it. Do we need to host it?
There is an actual chapter, but they're usually in Burlington, but I could write to them.
I don't know, where'd be a cool place to have something like that?
Yeah.
I know. But we've had it at like the
This would be an awesome place for a Jane Austen.
Aiken House up in,
Oh, cute.
at UVM, which is very, very
Oh, yeah.
special.
Mhm.
Is that funny?
Yeah, I mean,
And we-
bring them in
And we
Central
did one,
Vermont.
and
That's,
we did one at the Inn at Essex, and we had learning Regency dancing.
I love all of this.
Yes.
Yeah, you need to
Okay.
go watch Austen Land.
Okay.
have a good night. So we're still being recorded, and I think we're almost done. Use of the
If they're
auditorium.
still
and-
watching at this point.
Yeah. Well, it gets posted, but use of the auditorium and the BOR. Anything else we want to speak about now?
No.
Okay. I think yeah. And then just things I didn't want to fall off our agenda were the Mathewson party that Ellen was interested in. I want to say we should talk about Halloween, or those were two separate. It was like if they get the
Two
grant.
separate. Sounds like they got a lot of really cool ideas.
Yeah, and I think we should, like, yeah, let's work with them. So maybe I could check if she has more specifics about a date for the opening party, or like.
Yeah, we should just
Party?
email Ellen, like, right before each meeting.
Yeah.
She's a wealth of knowledge
She
anyways.
really is.
So.
Just very lovely. And then open parks day, like literally just maybe once we have the map or whatever, be like, here's a map. Today, you know, we'd have to probably have like an ambassador or local in each park. I mean, like, there's lemonade in this park, there's this in this park. I mean, we think we need to have enough like publicity about it that we wouldn't get like one person at each thing.
Yeah.
So just throwing that out there. And that's all that was on our agenda. Anything else?
I'm afraid to add anything else with something
Fair.
that just
Yeah.
popped up.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry that I brought something else.
I can put it
There's
on the
actually,
agenda for next meeting, or you want to talk about it now?
Yeah, let's
Either
put
is
it in
fine.
next meeting,
Okay.
because it's nothing to talk about now. There's actually a Barre City Parks and Rec Facebook page that has been updated since 2022.
Oh, okay. Well,
Going back
that's-
to the Barre City Parks maps and doing the things you're talking about. We need to figure out how to get, or even just opening up another one.
City manages all of those.
Perfect. Then we
I
need
can
to
ask Nicholas.
get our hands on that.
Okay. So, and I'll obviously copy all in that email. I think that's allowed. I know Amanda, like, I think it's fine with the city manager. Great. I need to like clean up all the minutes. I'll have them in Google Docs, but they need to post them. So I'm gonna like simplify them. I just take like full on notes. Next meeting, and Kat, so we had to let them know by April 30th. And are we 2 years into our term? No way. I would have told you 6 months, that we were 6 months in. That's still depressing.
Yeah, no, we
Yeah.
have to tell them by April 30th, and then the term is up in
Okay.
June.
And then you're on a staggered term, so you're,
2 years.
but you're 1 year in?
So
yeah.
the hard part is that it takes 3 of us to make quorum.
Should we end the meeting?
No, I mean,
No.
this is
meeting stuff.
relevant.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if, like, I literally cannot,
Yeah.
right? But
Then the committee will.
the committee
Temporarily
will not
cease to
be able
exist.
to meet unless they lower the max number of people, which would have to go down to 3, or you would have to like actively find someone to take my position.
But you're here until June.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so that's a really good, I mean, again, sad to lose you, but I think it's a good way to light a fire under us that we have till June to find at least one other.
Because if you don't, the committee will not be allowed to meet.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. Okay.
It's totally understandable too. You got a ton on your plate right now. I mean,
Yeah. But that's where
Totally.
we were for literally like 6 months.
Yeah.
Is
Okay, that
not-
makes me feel better.
Right, like we were literally not
Able to
allowed
meet.
to meet until you joined Parks and Rec because we couldn't make quorum.
Yeah. So boy, were we excited when we heard about you.
yeah.
Well, I think that's helpful, and maybe we can figure out a way to, say that's our target date when we'll have these openings. And I just say, like, again, I think the 3 of us are lovely, but just having other people, it just feels more energizing. Like that it's not
Yeah.
just the 3 of us being like, well, I don't know, we'll have to check on that. Like being able to have those
Yeah.
immediate answers. So I'm feeling actually better about things
Yeah.
than I was.
I'm not sure like what capacity Amanda was here in
She
tonight.
said official.
No, I know, but unless something has changed, she is not our city council liaison.
Mhm.
That is Michael Deering.
What does that even mean?
So every committee has a city councilor that is appointed to it to like help support it, understand what tools they have available to it, and I think they're supposed to attend like their designated committee meetings. Amanda is cow pasture and something else, and she wasn't able to tack on Parks and Rec.
Mhm. Well, hey, I know those guys have a lot on their plates too. It's just a matter of one thing I noticed is it's transparency, communication, and just everybody's like up in the air. You know, it doesn't matter if it's us, city council. So
I think,
Yeah.
I personally don't think we need a city council liaison or anyone city
Right.
council every meeting, but I think it would be great like quarterly or something, or like being like,
Right.
hey, we have a bunch of questions, and if you could come
Right,
to
can
this
you
upcoming
come?
meeting, could be nice.
Yeah.
Um,
Because I think that's what's hard too.
Yeah.
The meetings are literally only once a month. So if we leave here with questions
Yeah.
tonight, even if Haley gets a response, it's still like a month before
yeah,
planning can happen unless we all go into like an email chain and then the emails have to be like sent to City Hall because they're now part of open meetings, like they have to be publicized.
yeah. Okay. Well, I just put a note that Kat, you're here until June, then you plan to be stepping down. It's a good time where we could be pushing to have recruit someone by then, otherwise we can't meet unless the quorum is lowered. And that we don't need a city councilor to attend each meeting, but we could invite them as needed. And we could also, or ask if they could come to meetings quarterly.
Yeah.
To just keep things on track.
Mhm.
Great. So I guess why I was asking all that was I want to make sure you're here for the next meeting. So I guess that would be our last meeting with you. And so now they currently have us on the.
beginning of June or end of June.
I don't know.
Yeah. Well,
I don't
we
know.
can squeeze you in for a May meeting, right? Do
Yeah,
we want
and
to
it
do
does-
the third Tuesday? Then we won't have to, well, our link didn't really work, but. Did you happen to jot down that password or should I write it down? I'll write it down after the meeting if you
I was thinking
recall.
about emailing Nicholas anyways, just to see if we can get something on paper, so.
Yeah,
Actually
right.
be
So
on top of it.
the third, I think I'm gonna be out of town the third.
I don't want to say it out loud.
Yeah, and that's, we can do it after. So the third Tuesday in May would be May 20th. I will be out of town, so that won't work for me.
End of May is a little tough for me too. I have a funeral to attend.
Oh, sorry. Do you want to do earlier, like May
Earlier,
13th?
That would
15th
work
is
better
a
for me.
trivia night.
13th
13th seems fine.
Tuesday. Okay.
Mhm.
We may need to. Well, I'll warn the agenda like
Mhm.
soon, and they might just be like, "We got to give you a new link," and they must think we're wild, like changing around, which I don't think is that wild. But so let's see, 6:30 on Tuesday, May 13th. Are you good with having it here, Kat?
Mhm.
Okay. Great. And I know I haven't done this like once, but I'll actually send around the meeting minutes, even though they're super rough, just so you all have your do-outs.
Don't even worry about spelling.
Okay, I really,
Send 'em up.
it's just like free form. I've just like typed what I've heard. You'll just send them right now. Great. I make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. A motion, meeting adjourned at 8:32.